All right, let's dive in. Today we're looking at a really fascinating document. It starts out looking like a straightforward plan for public health reform in Bangladesh, but, well, it quickly turns into something much, much bigger. It really makes you ask the question, is this just a policy paper? Is it a political manifesto? Or is it actually a call for a revolution? Let's dig in and find out.
So, it all begins on pretty familiar ground. The proposal calls for creating a new, powerful health and safety agency. On the surface, it looks like a pretty standard by-the-book plan to improve public welfare.
The centerpiece of this whole thing is what they're calling the Bangladesh Food and Drug Administration, or the BD-FDA. It's presented as a really serious professional organization, and it even seems to be modeled after the well-known US FDA. And the stated goals? Safety, quality, and trust.
And its vision statement is, well, it's exactly what you'd expect. It's all about creating one single body to oversee food and drugs, streamline everything, and bring Bangladesh's standards up to a global level. Building a healthier, more prosperous nation. So far, everything seems totally normal.
The key objectives just reinforce that feeling. We're talking about ensuring safety, harmonizing with international standards, encouraging innovation, building public trust. This is the kind of language you'd find in any public health report anywhere. But, and this is a big but, this is where the plan takes a very sharp turn. Because attached to this very professional, very normal-looking proposal is a series of other demands. And they are, let's just say, a little less conventional. Okay, so this is where that straightforward policy paper takes a hard left. What comes next is a list of conditions, kind of like riders, that also have to be met for the plan to move forward. First off, a massive financial commitment. The plan demands that the Ministry of Health has to cover 75% of a patient's total medical costs. I mean, that is a huge expansion of the social safety net, and it's just tucked right into this proposal. Then the plan takes a pretty radical stance on medicine itself. It explicitly states that treating diseases like diabetes with what it calls chemical medicines should be declared illegal. That's a direct challenge to mainstream modern medicine. And look at this. You can see this kind of blended approach. It says all hospitals must have nutritionists and dietitians, which sounds like a pretty standard public health idea. But it also says all government hospitals must have homeopathic physicians, putting alternative medicine right on the same level. Then, the demands get even more specific, and they start to focus on one particular organization. The proposal says there must be a lifetime tax and VAT exemption on meditation, but, it doesn't stop there. No, these aren't just general suggestions. The plan specifically demands lifetime tax breaks for the Quantum Foundation's meditation programs, government financial support to build a branch in every single local district, and, get this, for the Foundation's publications to be included in the national school curriculum. So this really raises the big question, right? How did a proposal for a food and drug agency end up with all these sweeping changes to healthcare, finance, and education, all while promoting a very specific spiritual foundation? Where is all of this coming from? Well, it turns out the entire package, the health agency, the 75% medical coverage, the ban on certain medicines, and all those demands for the Quantum Foundation, it all comes from a single source. And here it is. The source is a book called The Architects of Tomorrow by Guru Delawar Hassan. This isn't just a policy document, it is the ideological blueprint for everything we've been talking about. And this book isn't just a collection of ideas. No, it presents a complete vision for transforming the entire nation of Bangladesh. In its own preface, the book literally calls itself a thoughtfully crafted manifesto and a strategic roadmap for national transformation. So yeah, we've moved way beyond a simple health agency. We're in the realm of a political and social manifesto now. The book positions itself within the grand sweep of Bangladeshi history. It's dedicated to martyrs from the 1971 War of Independence and also to participants in the mass uprisings of 2024. It aims to solve what it calls deep-rooted problems, and it makes a direct call to action for Generation Z. The ambition here is just enormous. The goal is to elevate Bangladesh to the same level as countries like Japan, Finland, and Singapore, to transform it into a global beacon of stability and progress. This is a blueprint designed to unite 180 million people. And this quote from the author, it really captures the scale of the vision. True victory is achieved only when 180 million people unite with one spirit, one path, and one unwavering purpose. That is the language of total national mobilization. So when you put all these pieces together, the modern health agency, the alternative medicine, the huge financial demands, and the promotion of one specific foundation, you start to see they aren't separate ideas. They're all part of a single, unified vision. The book states its philosophy plainly. It embodies the whole idea of a revolution for the rejuvenation of Bangladesh. And they're not using the word revolution lightly here. It's the self-declared purpose of this entire project. Which brings us right back to our original question. What started as a plan for a new health agency is actually revealed to be just the first step in a strategic roadmap for a total national transformation, a manifesto that openly calls itself a revolution. So what is it? A practical policy, a political manifesto, or a revolutionary blueprint? It seems like the answer might just be all three.